Five Nights at Freddy's, PG-13, 2023, horror/adaptation, 1 hour and 50 minutes. Let me start this off as a person who's a self-proclaimed film enthusiast and a very light FNAF fan. You know, I've played a couple of the first games, but this film was alright. It did what it set out to do, which was to give life to the video game franchise. Quick FNAF summary. First off, FNAF is a very unique series in the sense that its origins have been talked to death at this point, but for those who don't know, there's a dude named Scott, and he's following his passion as a video game creator. He's making some Christian video games, struggling, trying to make a living. Then, incidentally, a reviewer called his latest video game at that point scary. I believe it was a game about a beaver or something, but Scott took this in stride and said, "Oh, you want scary? I could do scary." He then creates a simple game when you're in one room, checking cameras, trying to survive. That in itself is so genius. Horror comes from the unknown. Up until that point, no one's really made a game with creepy animatronics that come and kill you to this degree. Not to mention you're isolated with limited resources to protect yourself. This was the perfect storm for a horror game success. Other things that elevated the notoriety of the game was its hidden lore. YouTube had people speculate and play this game to death as well. Damn. I can see why the critics are on the fence with this film. Or not really on the fence, they're on the other side of the fence. This film is not good to them, but as a person who has some footing with the franchise, I could see that this was a labor of love, and they really tried to make this for the fans.
We wanted to make sure we were doing the fan base justice in every decision that we made along the way. They were really at the forefront of our minds.
They got so many Easter eggs and fan service going into this damn near 2-hour film. It really did start out strong, but soon came down bit by bit. The reason why this film did so poorly on the critic side of things is that this franchise is built on smoke and speculation. There's never been any solid evidence for anything in the lore. I mean, what I think is happening is in the beginning of the game's creation, the man himself, Scott, threw so many things at the wall, like, oh, this color means this. Then he put it out there. People saw and speculated on what it meant. He picked up what he liked from what people speculated and continues it to the other games, which makes it a lot more messy and difficult to understand anything. Kind of reminiscent of the Legend of Zelda timeline, but I think they finally have a grasp on that. Lastly, the thing they did right was listening and letting the creator take control of what they could give them. The best thing any production can do. I do not like the Muppets in any shape, way, or form. With that being said, using professionals from Jim Henson's shop to create the monsters was a great decision. And the last thing that I want to mention that they did right was the time era, or the era that took place in time. I don't know. The way they filmed it was definitely reminiscent of 2000s. From the humor to the editing of the film, shout out there. I don't want to spoil too much, but if you like horror films, no matter how bad or how great they may be, this just might be a great way to kill 2 hours. Subjectively, I thought it was a good 7 out of 10. Objectively, I could see it definitely going lower to like a 6 out of 10. Either ways, it's nice to see this being brought to life. I think a lot of people have been begging for it. Thanks for watching.